let me tell you what you have to do, okay, to do that. You have to slash Medicare by about 30% or more. You're going to have to address Social Security. You're going to have to cut Medicaid rolls. Why is that? Because 60% of the federal budget is mandatory spending related to those programs. You can eliminate all federal spending is what's called discretionary. The stuff for all the other programs, you can eliminate every other program, still can't balance the budget. Okay? Defense, you say defense spending. We are looking at that. There are things we can do to decrease the Department of Defense bureaucracy to save money without affecting our troops. There are things that we can do, and we're doing it. But again, in that area, we can't be short-sighted because right now we have troops in the field in 2 wars, and I don't, even the Congress doesn't know what we're doing in Libya, believe it or not. The administration, we don't necessarily know. So we can't pull the rug out from under our people. But we do. But there are things in that piece of the pie, which is about 25% of federal spending, that we can streamline and make it more effective. But we got to be careful. So what does that? Where does that? So if you want to balance, if you want to immediately balance the budget without having more revenue, that's not going to happen. And the Republicans are not. Again, we are not against more revenue. We just believe it needs to be by economic growth and getting people back to work to raise revenue for the government. We don't believe that raising the tax rates on anybody, especially during a recession, is going to help. It's going to make it worse. That's what we believe. So if you see people saying the Republicans are out there, they refuse to look at raising revenue. Not true. It's a difference of opinion about how you raise it. If you look through history, John Kennedy said it in the 1960s. Before he was killed, he proposed tax reform. It happened in '64. He said, and I have his speech, if you're interested, look it up, Google it. He said the best way to raise federal revenue is to lower marginal tax rates and spur economic growth. And guess what they did in 1964? That's what they did, and they had it, and it worked. It doesn't always work, but most of the time, if you want to spur economic growth, you can't be jacking up taxes on small business owners and others. You get just the opposite effect. You'll get a little bump in your revenue, but it's going to go back down. So we believe economic growth, get people back to work, broaden the tax base, the broad tax reform, to raise revenue. That's our goal. So,